his escape. As you know, there's been a warrant issued for her arrest also.
US Marshal Keely, obviously there was a large window between the time that they were last seen and when there was an alert sent out that they were missing. Feasibly they could have gotten out of the country. So my question to you is, when this might involve foreign countries, how does that work in terms of getting the information out and having the cooperation of other countries in trying to find these two?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, the United States Marshals Service operates 8 regional fugitive task forces across the country. They're congressionally funded. In addition to that, we have a network of district task forces across the country also. So we can quickly respond to leads in a case like this, no matter where that tip comes in. Also, we have foreign field offices. We have good relationships with the Border Patrol. So all of those tools are in place at this particular time.
Walk us through what you can at where we are in the case right now and what's being done at this moment. Where are we exactly?
Well, the Marshal Service has elevated this case to a major case, which allows for additional funding and resources. And the agency is fully committed to the apprehension of these 2 individuals. Sheriff Singleton and his team have been partners of the Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force for some time. He has deputies from his agency that are assigned as task force officers to our agency. And again, we work in partnership. And these police officers and deputies that work with our task forces, they are specially deputized, which gives them federal arrest powers across the country. So they have the flexibility of being able to work in whatever area they need to work in to bring this case to a successful conclusion. So as to what's being done now, we're continuing to follow up on the leads that were in the tips that we're receiving. We are interviewing a number of individuals that both of the suspects have been associated with in the past to try to gain additional information about this case and what might have been said. If there's anybody that has a connection that might know of the planning, how it developed. So we're just vetting out the leads in the case at this particular time, and we are making progress.
You know, Marty, I think we all have seen so many movies, and I think that's fair to say. We've watched these kind of stories play out in movies. From what you know, though, it sounds like there was a lot of planning that obviously went into this. Is that fair to say?
That is a fair statement.
And so at this point, are you concerned about her safety because of what he was in prison for already? Is there concern still for her safety?
Certainly, there's concern for her safety. There's concern for the safety of the public, for a law enforcement officer that might stop these individuals along the way. Hopefully this comes to a successful ending where they're apprehended and everybody remains safe.
U.S. Marshal Keely, we know there's things you can and cannot say because you definitely don't want to tip them off if they're somehow getting a hold of this. But do we know how well funded they are? And obviously if this took a lot of planning, they had to have had some backup supplies and things like that to last them for a while.
Well, I think it's already it's in the media that she sold her
Correct.
home, and I think the price was $95,000, and as I understand it, that was below market value. So I don't know the amount of cash that she received from the sale of that property. However, I think it is safe to assume that they have cash at this particular time.
Marty, this is an age-old story, isn't it? We've seen these things happen before, even though they're so bizarre. They have happened over time that an inmate somehow befriends someone that has some authority and finds their way out. We were just talking about the Mario Sintobi case from many years ago. While it feels unusual, it's not all the time, is it?
That's correct. The Mario Sintobi case is a good example, and I've used this example, and Janice, you and I talked about this the other day. If you just look at society in general, you'll see a trusted bank employee, for example, that embezzles money, or you'll see a person that's involved with a charitable organization, a very trusted individual, where they might embezzle money or be involved in some other type of criminal activity. So it's human nature. This does happen, again, the sheriff's office and Sheriff Singleton, they had policies in place, and it's something that can happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, the sheriff has made it very clear that they were very shocked over this. As we wrap up, Marty, if there's anything, we've been looking at that video, that last known video of them leaving together. I'm assuming you've watched the video. Does it tell you anything at all?
Well, the hindsight's 20/20, but yes, to answer your question, if you look at the video closely, she's very casual when she's leaving the facility, and she's walking in front of him, which typically you wouldn't see that. So, as you look at the video, there are things that, and again, it's easy to look at this after the fact and pick it up after you can look at the video many times and analyze it.
All right, well, you see on the screen there the tip number to call. I would assume there's no tip that's a bad one. If someone thinks they know anything, call that number. Absolutely.
If you have any information, report it to the Marshals Service. You've got the information up on how to report it. I would emphasize again that she is 5 feet 6 inches tall, about 150 pounds, and he is 6 feet 9 inches tall. And I believe his weight comes in at something over 300 pounds. So he would stand out in a crowd or in a group. So if you see someone or a couple that fits this description, take a second look and please report it. Again, if you see something, say something, report it to us, and we will investigate and find out if, in fact, it is the two individuals that we're looking for, Casey White and Vicky White.
U.S. Marshal Marty Keely, we appreciate your time. Godspeed to you and the rest of law enforcement searching for those two.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Matt?